I'm Jānis Vītums. I'm a very old employee, not only by age, but also, as you hear, I was the very first employee after founder bootstrap period. Um, Working here almost for 12 years, I survived a lot of migrations, and just few of them were database. And recently I realized that eazyBI is more like a clothing company, not a software company. And you can see I have almost everything from eazyBI, like socks and scarf and jacket. Yeah, there's still a problem. My trousers is not, so I think marketing knows there is a room to grow. Okay, and today I would like to tell you a story about our company design migrations, and okay, together with a little bit database migrations. Okay, this jacket, it's our first design, and this is very old, and it have seen all eazyBI history. So I will start in the beginning. We'll start with a little bit of eazyBI history. That's not. Okay, this is also a very old one. You can see it's have survived a lot of things, but judging by how often I have seen this jacket in informal and formal occasions, this is by far most popular clothing item in our line. And I will continue with server-to-server migrations. Well, no. Okay, this is our most colorful design item, but I think I'm wearing it for the first time because I think it was created during COVID and there was no chance to wear. And it was created during the same period as server-to-cloud and cloud-to-cloud migrations, so we'll continue with those. And okay, this is our current jacket. It just, you can see it doing its job for our team. Everyone's wearing it, and so the migration process is doing its job. And okay, yeah. There is one more thing. We also have a T-shirts. Okay, this is, again, first design generation T-shirt, and this is the last one created by Raymond. It's himself, I believe, everything for this, yes. And while wearing it, I will tell you about eazyBI history and products just to put things into the context. It started as a web-only application around eazyBI.com around 2011. Maybe dates are not right, but then in the fall of 2012, eazyBI app for Jira Server was introduced. And it's very important to mention that the eazyBI for Jira Server was actually the same cloud application, just repacked to run inside Jira's Jira environment. And some specific code were added just to a little bit faster fetch that data from Jira using internal APIs. And around 2013, Jira Cloud was released. Back at that time, it was called Atlassian On Demand, or Jira On Demand. And I believe we were the first plugin which managed to be out for the Jira Cloud, which was not actually installed in Atlassian servers. There were a few others. And this was because eazyBI for Jira Cloud, again, it's not a new application. It's the same application. Just the same eazyBI.com, just added with some connectivity functionality. Okay, here is a current list of all our products, and I will repeat myself because it's very important that it's the same eazyBI behind all of them. And there is only small differences how each version is packed. For example, on eazyBI.com, we have added the extra payment features. From migration point of view, this means we just need to move the data. We don't need to worry about changing data structures because it's the same eazyBI everywhere. This is also the reason why eazyBI uses own database on Jira. It's not typical for Jira apps because other apps usually use a shared table on Jira, but eazyBI uses own database, and there is a good reason. For us, we are very, very heavy on database usage and storage. And having our own database, again, it saves us a lot of effort because we don't need to support two completely different storage models for migration. Okay. Now it's And now it's server migration, and this is our second old T-shirt, very good aligned with our burgundy colored jacket. The first migration needs for the servers were setting up test environments and move to new production environment. In early days, the only available option was full database dump and restore for eazyBI. eazyBI supports running on all same databases as Jira supports: MySQL, PostgreSQL, Oracle, and Microsoft SQL Server. And even better, eazyBI can use any of supported database regardless of which one Jira uses. However, obvious limitation of database dump approach is that it doesn't allow migration between different database types. At the time, eazyBI had only small user base, and cross-database migrations were seen as so rare as we typically offered just a few workarounds instead of proper solution. But as user base grew, so did the need for more flexible migration options. And two most requested features were a way to migrate without requiring actual database administrator or direct database access, and ability to migrate to a different type of database. And that's when eazyBI Database Migrator was created. eazyBI Database Migrator supports two types of migration: direct database connection, where the data is selected from source database and inserted into the target database, and file-based migration, where data is exported to zip file and then imported into target system. With the direct connection approach, there can be some challenges, such as network connectivity issues or missing source database drivers. File-based method works by exporting zip file from source eazyBI instance and uploading it to target. And the zip file, of course, is database independent. Under the hood, actually, the direct database method also uses the same file-based mechanism. It generates same export files from remote database and immediately imports them into target. And we also have seen some interesting creative ways of using these zip files when users need to access internal database information. They just create export zips and do whatever they want. Okay, what actually gets migrated? To understand that, let's first look how eazyBI database structure is organized. eazyBI uses multiple databases or schemas depending on underlying database system. For this example, I will use MySQL with multiple databases. When you install eazyBI, a metadatabase is created. This metadatabase stores information about users, accounts, import configurations, and report definitions. It's important to note that this metadatabase doesn't contain any actual imported data that is used in your reports. Instead, it contains only metadata, information about how data should be imported and how reports should be built. When someone accesses eazyBI, internal eazyBI user record is created. This may be linked to Jira user in Jira case or completely independent in other products. When new account is created, it is assigned a unique internal ID, and dedicated data warehouse database is created per each account. Administrative details about account and the users are stored in metadatabase and will be migrated. When you configure a data import, the import definition is stored in metadatabase, but imported data, again, it goes on the data warehouse database. During import, the cube definition is created in metadatabase. It includes dimension structures, calculated members, and data warehouse table configuration metadata. Database migrator only migrates the source definitions and data structures, not the data again. Yeah. And when you create reports and dashboards, definitions are also stored in metadatabase. These are instructions how to build reports and how to build dashboards, not the actual data. And again, yeah, only definitions are migrated, not the data. So, too fast. What is not migrated? So, just one more time, that no actual data includes migration. It's very important to understand because it's usually some misunderstandings because of that. Okay. Import definitions in eazyBI refer to specific Jira entities. For example, when you import projects or custom fields, you store Jira internal keys, IDs, and names in eazyBI metadatabase. The migrator relies on the fact that all imported data in eazyBI, all imports in eazyBI are repeatable. This means they can be run again on target system, and the data warehouse will be recreated at exactly the same way as the source system. In case of Jira, the tricky part is that Jira data on the source and target systems must match exactly. We expect that Jira data is migrated before eazyBI. There can also be external references pointing to eazyBI. For example, Jira gadgets with eazyBI reports or dashboards include exact internal eazyBI IDs. These IDs must stay the same for the links to work. There might also be direct web links to eazyBI reports from external pages, and those links also use internal IDs. During migrations, the internal IDs might be changed, and all those links will break. So to solve this, we developed an option that allows keeping the same IDs on target system, but there's a catch: this option can be used only when the target database is empty. So over the years, while working in technical support, I have seen users attempt to use eazyBI zip as backup for eazyBI. In theory, it sounds like a good idea, but in practice, it's not reliable. Even if there is no errors in eazyBI, there are edge cases when a full restore from zip might not be possible. Standard database backup procedures are always more reliable. And please note that some data are not included in zip file and will be lost even and cannot be restored even in target system. It includes usage statistics, some Confluence history data, which is not stored in Confluence, and any other time-sensitive API if you are using. Yes, okay, server to cloud migration. This is, as you remember, our most colorful design period. So this is from that time. So why migration to cloud is needed? The simple answer: Atlassian and we at eazyBI allow when everyone moves to cloud. But why would you want to migrate? When I talked about previous server-to-server migrations, I mentioned some technical terms like database. The truth is running eazyBI on server comes with some technical challenges. A separate database needs to be created and configured and maintained. At very least, it must be regularly backed up. For some tasks, you need database administrator. For some organizations, DBAs is hard to reach, or there isn't one at all. I even have seen companies running Oracle without DBAs. Hardware usage must be monitored and adjusted, for example, making sure that server doesn't run out of disk space. Surprisingly, we got really lot of support requests when database just runs out of disk space. Last year, I gave a presentation on how to create bad reports. Bad reports can cause serious problems for server administration if not handled well. They can even lead to server-wide issues. In large organizations, someone must actively monitor eazyBI usage, clean up bad reports, and deal with problematic imports. All of that becomes much easier when you migrate to cloud. And now, very obvious slide. When you are on the cloud, you just start using eazyBI. You don't need to worry about databases, networks, configurations. There is few small exceptions. No need for database means no need for database administrator. On the cloud, eazyBI support is proactively monitoring your import health and bad reports. Your organization admins will spend much time on maintenance, support, and installing version updates. Maintaining organization-specific environments is a waste of time for both sides. At eazyBI, technical support is done by the same people who develop the product. Less time our developers spend on solving unique server environment-specific problems, more time they can spend building improvements and new cool features for you. And so server-to-cloud migration was born. Now you will see why I talked about history of eazyBI to show that there is really just one eazyBI, and because of that there is also just one database migration process. Since all eazyBI versions are essentially the same, we didn't need to invent something completely new. We had already developed and tested the file-based migration between servers for many years, so we reused what we already had and got simple, reliable solution. The process is the same as before. We take a metadata from the server, create zip file, send it to the cloud. insert data into eazyBI Cloud database, and start all the imports to recreate databases. During server migrations, we copy only the metadata. The process works under the assumption that both source and target Jira instances are identical. As a result, eazyBI in the new instance can continue using the same internal IDs for all migrated items. It makes the transition smooth and simple. However, when migrating to Jira Cloud, things become more complicated. Many Jira entities in the cloud have new internal IDs, which means we can't rely on the old ID-based matching. To handle this, eazyBI uses name-based matching for key entities. There is some examples in the list. There is no technical way to preserve original internal eazyBI IDs, and it's not necessary either. External references will break anyway because of domain name in the links will change after moving to the cloud. If eazyBI cannot find users in the cloud, it will use current users, the one who is doing migration instead. Custom fields are even trickier. Since custom fields can be used in multiple places, we need to apply more complex matching logic during the import. We need not only update custom fields in reports, but also in advanced settings and in custom JavaScript code. There is also one super weird edge case with a custom field name change. The custom field customer request type, for some reason, changed to just request type on the cloud. If your Jira import included data from third-party apps, for example, Tempo or X-Ray, that run on their own cloud servers, the apps must be re-added and re-authenticated again in the import. I think Zane yesterday showed these authentication-related issues and how to solve them. If your Jira server setup uses SQL or REST API data sources, you should check whether these data sources are still reachable from eazyBI Cloud. Internal services usually become unavailable for all external data sources. There might be need to open firewalls to be accessed from eazyBI addresses. You always can see eazyBI Cloud IP addresses in source data import form. Okay, this is very special t-shirt. In this design line, we first started to create multiple items per design line, and we created the running shirt, and this is my absolutely favorite running shirt. I even did a full marathon wearing this shirt. So. Okay, in first server-to-server migrations, I gave examples of cloning production environments to create test environment. But what about the cloud? What if you actually need test environments there? So that's why we also created cloud-to-cloud migrations. Now you can set up sandbox environments and use eazyBI cloud-to-cloud migration to copy your data over. And the process is used here is still the same. I even don't go in details. But there, when speaking about two cloud migrations both, then there is some limitations. First, the dashboard gadgets from Jira data centers cannot be automatically migrated to the cloud site. This means you manually need re-add each eazyBI gadget used in, to your Jira dashboards after migrations. Right now, we don't have a reliable or supported way to automate this step. And second limitation is cross-cloud type migrations are not supported. This means that you cannot migrate do cloud-to-cloud migration from Atlassian government cloud to Atlassian commercial cloud. Okay. That's good. Okay, this is our current design, and this is very special T-shirt. It's specially created for the introverts like me, that I can wear company colors and blend into the crowd so that no one will notice me that I'm actually from company. Thank you. Okay, let's go through some process details. I'll speak about preparation before starting cloud-to-cloud migration. The first thing you need to check is network connectivity. In many cases, the Jira server is protected by firewall and is effectively hidden from the internet. But during the migration process, it must have direct access both to Jira Cloud servers and to eazyBI Cloud. Next steps are update eazyBI on the server to the latest version before migration. Install eazyBI for Jira Cloud before you start. eazyBI is not automatically installed during migration, it must be installed before. You must migrate Jira because, as you remember, you need the Jira data there. Migration must be done by someone who has admin access both to Jira server and to Jira Cloud. Make sure that user tokens are correct and created specifically for REST API access. There are different types of tokens in Jira, and I have seen issues when users create these other types. I even don't remember which ones, but check if all needed third-party apps are installed. Remember, I told you the connectivity about third-party apps. Also remember local data sources like SQL data source or private REST APIs usually are not accessible from cloud because of organization limitations. Sometimes unexpected issues can happen actually, and migration can be completely blocked. I just put some examples of our past. This was one totally unexpected. We even didn't know that REST APIs can have multi-line keys in them, so when we tried to read on target system, eazyBI just failed. There was that very, very strange error if the cube created without calculated members and renamed custom field. We didn't have such cases in our tests, so we never tested, so we didn't spot it. This our mistake small. And third example is that when users enter custom domains, we didn't know that custom domains actually cannot be used for internal APIs, but this was a simple workaround, just enter Atlassian domain, but anyway, we fixed it. So at the end, this entire presentation could be reduced to one simple recommendation: just test it before you run. And if your test works and you get this wonderful message, everything else might seem unnecessary. But unsurprisingly, this is both good and bad advice. The good part is you do need to do full rehearsal of the process to avoid these totally bad surprises and showstoppers. And also you can open some reports and compare them with the server, and just to make sure that the figures are the same on the server and on the cloud. The bad part is you actually can't test every report. Even the process finishes without errors and looks fine from eazyBI side. Remember, imports depend on Jira configuration and on external apps. So there is no way to guarantee 100% success in every case. Finally, how you can tell if migration was successful. It depends on how you define success. If success means getting exactly the same reports with exactly the same numbers, then honestly, that's not possible. Always. If you might ask, why did I talk so much about eazyBI history and technical details if in the end we even can't test everything? Because once you understand how the migration works internally, you can predict where problems might happen. Think about your specific cases and ask for the help in advance. I believe you should create your own success definition for each case. Most likely it will include successful migration of eazyBI configuration and ability to run most important data imports. I tried to guess what main questions from eazyBI users might be before migration. So let's go through. Can the migration fail? Temporarily, yes, as we saw, if it runs into unknown edge case. But don't worry, all known cases have been fixed in just a few hours or maximum in few days. Can I damage something on server? No, we don't. We only extract data. We don't modify anything on server. Can I lose accounts or reports? Yes and no. Accounts will be there. Reports definitions will be migrated. But if a data source isn't available, like REST API or external app, reports might not show data. If dimensions are missing, some reports might not open at all. Can I lose data sources? Yes, we discussed it. Will all reports be the same? It depends. Will my gadgets work? Jira gadgets are not automatically created. You need to recreate. Can I repeat migration? Kind of no and kind of yes. You can repeat it if you delete all the accounts, but not whole migration will be repeated. So you shouldn't rely on these reruns if you delete. You can repeat only for full migration only on new Jira site. You need to recreate the Jira site. Can I migrate only one account? Yes, you can migrate one account, and later you can run migration and add additional accounts and one by one. Can I join multiple eazyBIs into one? Yes, but there might be challenges. Remember data matching and kind of REST APIs and SQL, probably you can join. Okay, you may still have this one question in your mind: should I fear migration? The whole point of my presentation was to show how eazyBI handles database migrations. I wanted to give you a clear overview of the process, both technically and logical. The understanding gives you a sense of control and actually allow you to take control in some degree. And when you have some control, you begin to trust the process, and trust removes fear. Most importantly, you can trust that eazyBI as a product, and we as a team, we always do our best to make your migration successful. But of course, there are limits. And there is one piece of eazyBI closing I never had.